We're glad to have you back on TVC Breakfast this Monday morning. Now, Lagos State has declared war on cultist activities in the state.
Well, joining us via Skype to discuss this is a security expert, Seyi Adetayo. Thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast Show. Now, Lagos State somehow has become the headquarters of cultism in the country. What are the factors responsible for this?
Okay, maybe I would like to say good morning. I would like to say that contrary to that, I think when you compare cultic activities in the Niger Delta, I think Lagos State is just growing. However, it is still a cause for concern, the rate of cultism in Lagos State. But factors responsible for this, I would say, is negligence on the part of government over time to tackle the root cause of this. I remember sometime in early 2000 when campus cultism started spreading to communities. I happened to be one of those that actually raised that concern then, 2000, 2001, 2002. And I'll tell you the emergence of this. I believe that community cultism actually started from Ogun State. When a large number of students were rusticated or expelled from higher institutions in Ogun State and in Oyo State as at that time. Most of them happens to be indigenous of communities like Shagamu, Ijebu-Ode, and Abeokuta. Most of all these people now started forming what is called, they are likely members of Eye confraternity as at that particular point in time, and they started forming next in communities like Shagamu then. And because of their drive to be able to have enough members, they are going into secondary schools, primary schools, and there was concerted effort then to actually clean the secondary schools at that time. So they started embracing those that are still looking for admissions, those that were artisans at that particular point. So you see students coming to campus already initiated into cultism at that time. And over time, the area confraternity started spreading to communities outside Ogun State, moving to Lagos State and other parts of the country, and they started becoming big because they enjoy patronage from politicians. And you know, when politicians are involved in things like this, money starts flowing into it. So many people now started seeing the benefits of establishing a group that can easily deploy for any purpose. And at that time, they were also involved in armed robbery activities. So over time, we started seeing groups like the Black Axe, the Buccaneers, and the rest started setting up their own community confraternity. And it's now spreading.
Seyi Adetayo, just hold on for us very quickly as we leave our viewers on TVCE. Of course, there are other platforms where you can continue to watch the show this morning on DSTV, of course, Free TV, and Sky TV. Actually, those are the channels there that you can continue to watch. StarSat 270, Star Times 307. DSTV channel 418, Go TV channel 455, and of course Star Times channel 307, like she said. Welcome back. We're looking at our first story this morning, Lagos and the war against cultists, and I guess that will include Bado and there's so many other cult groups all across Lagos. I guess Seyi Adetayo was trying to lay background as to what may have led to the emergence of cultists. And community cultism. Yes, community cultism, as a matter of fact. Now, Seyi, last year, December specifically, the governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode, did say that criminals, cultists, he was ready to actually grant them amnesty if they are willing to, you know, drop their wicked or nefarious activities. Do you think amnesty should be the way forward? Would that in any way solve the problem?
Not going to work. Now, we need to understand what is the difference between what is happening in Lagos State and what is happening in the Niger Delta. In Niger Delta, you have the Greenlanders, the Highlanders, and the rest. These are super structured cultic group. Cult groups that are involved in, high level economic sabotage that they are using to finance themselves. More so, they are also involved in the controls of the waterways and controls of jetties and the rest. And the approach by the River State governor or government at that time is entirely different from the approach that is expected of Lagos State. Amnesty is not going to work in Lagos. Now, the existence of cultist group now have gone beyond the kind of structures that or cult group is different from the kind of structure that you have on campuses. Now you have the Awawa, the Onyabo, 1 Million Boys, different groups like that that are not the regular type that you find on campuses. So what you now see is that groups of destitutes with somebody controlling them will just create some kind of structure around himself and make his members to swear to an oath of allegiance and some codes to define how they relate with one another, and that is a group exists like that. And when you begin to now call people to say amnesty, well, everybody, probably me too, I will just gather some, tie-wearing guys like myself. They will call ourselves a corporate cult and come and collect amnesty from the governor. That's the kind of thing that you eventually see, because so many people will come out and call themselves different cult groups. Yeah. And the moment they collect the money, they go back to what they're doing because they enjoy patronage from politicians. Politicians need these guys to be able to do their, get their electoral victory through violence, ballot box snatching, intimidations, and the rest of it.
Okay, if you just a few months ago, a video trended online on the social media of an 11-year-old boy known as Shana Wale in Lagos, who said he belonged to a cult group, a Yekan fraternity, and it was his job to hack down whoever got on the nerves of his leaders. It belonged to a deadly group of those attacking people almost on a daily basis, a heavy smoker of marijuana. Just an 11-year-old boy, and of course, so it means that, like what we've seen so far and what we've read, that cultism is not just among the elders anymore, or men or teenagers, but even in primary schools and secondary schools now, they are belonging to cult groups. So you've already said that amnesty cannot work, but what can be effective enough to let our young children, the future leaders of the country, know that cultism is not the way to go?
It's advocacy will go a long way, and especially if we are able to implement our electoral laws, it will go a long way. Clearing of under the bridges and the rest areas. Say the police in each divisions, they understand, they know those people, they know their practice, they know where they gather, and there are those that are, yes, they exist as a cult group within themselves, but they are more of criminals. So effective policing will actually clear such people. And those of them like Onyabo, Awawa, and the rest, I believe that, because I know that the police in Lagos, especially RRS and tax force or so, have done a lot on the group in Agege, axis, and that one around that Maitu Badagry axis a lot. So for me, it's about effective policing, it's about community policing, it's about people coming up to come and volunteer information. Government should be able to encourage people to come and volunteer information. These people live in the community. We see them, we live with them. They gather in the community. They have their own, let me say, junction or areas where they group, they gather in group, they meet, they smoke, they eat or dance. Yes. Even at the end, sometime at the end of the year, they used to organize carnivals. We know them as people. So it is for government to be able to bring in the people, the community. This is where the Lagos State neighborhood now, they need to, because to me, the establishment of the neighborhood, the Lagos Neighborhood Corps is for intelligence gathering. And these people are selected from different communities. Their existence will be nonsensical or immaterial if they cannot provide actionable and a verifiable intelligence.
All right, Shay,
So
let me take it from there then. Let me take it from there using your word actionable. Do you think there's a link between the absence of prisons in Lagos State, for example? We have the Kirikiri and the Ikoyi prison. Is it a dearth of prisons that makes it almost unimaginable for Ambode to go forward in terms of really punishing this cultist? Is that what the problem might just be? That he is left with no choice than to, look the way of amnesty?
Is another major problem we have. See, when we're talking about criminal justice system, it is divided to three. I tried to explain this before. We have the investigation, that is arrest and investigation aspect of criminal justice, which is the sole responsibility of police and other security agencies. Then we have the court, the prosecution, which is the way of administering justice, trials for those that are arrested. Then we have the prison system that has to do with the prison facility itself and the prison officers, and then the philosophy around our prison system. That is a major problem. Our prison, instead of it to be a reformatory or a correctional center, it is a place where people have been added. I've had opportunity of visiting prisons like Agodi prisons in Ibadan, and what I saw there was an eyesore. I went there as part of my clinicals in forensic psychology to actually see, and then I was given access. We had access into the prison, and what I saw, say about 90 to 100 people in a very small room. That cannot bring anything good out of anybody. And what you see there, including the prison officers themselves, are criminals. So there must be, one, the prison reform, and two, the government should be able to build specialized prisons where people will pass through. It's not really does it not really make sense when you want to put people for 20 years, 15 years prison jail time, and at the end of the day they come back to the society. They have no other places to go and look for their fellow criminals that are already outside.
Yes, but Sheyi, can you throw the 11-year-old boy, for example, that Azizat mentioned? Can you throw such a boy in prison and not extend some kind of amnesty? He's a minor.
Yeah, there are juvenile centers that are meant for people like that. So I know we have juvenile center in Lagos State. Now, how see the one I saw, I think around the Sherry area looks so beautiful outside. I've not had opportunity of actually going inside to see how well they are actually implementing a correction or reformatory practice that is expected of such center. But I believe that one is not enough for a state like Lagos. Two is not enough for a state like Lagos. Three is not enough. Lagos State need to build juvenile center in different, let me say, federal constituencies, because we have so many children of that age that are already involved in criminality. You see so many of them at age of 10, 11, 12 already smoking marijuana. And then these children, there is no amount of preaching that you preach to them in church.
Because of time, let me quickly ask. Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, because of time now, before we wrap up this segment, yes, Shanawale is just an example of many young children in Lagos and across Nigeria, really. But then, what about the Nigeria police force? How can they tackle the problem of cultism, not just in Lagos, but across the country? Because it seems it's very difficult. It is understandable, or according to information, that Nigeria has about 50 cult groups in the country.
Much more than 50 cult groups. Even in the Niger Delta itself, the Niger Delta itself, they have over 50. So, and I'm very sure in Lagos there are more than 50 cult groups existing in Lagos, apart from those ones that have, branches in different parts of Lagos. Now, police are currently engaged in too many things, which they have the power to do. I think we need to start this process by restructuring the functions of the Nigerian police. So many of the officers currently involved in protective duty should be withdrawn. Let this protective duty be done in a different way. Bring them back into the core police duty, so that we can have enough men, enough manpower to tackle the main crimes and criminalities in the communities. Police are currently overstretched, and that's the problem in the country. to me, I believe over 40% of the Nigerian police force are not doing core policing. You see them protecting facilities, government buildings. In abroad, police do not protect government buildings. They contract these things out to private security companies that have been cleared with license to bear arms.
All right.
This is the way to go now, 21st century security practice.
Sheyi Adetayo, we'll have to leave it there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your brilliant insight this morning on TVC Breakfast. Sheyi Adetayo is a security expert. Of course, we expect to speak to you over and over again on the show in future. Thanks for staying with us. Of course, the plans by Ambode to use 2017 to actually rehabilitate these young people who find themselves in the line of the negative side of society. We hope that can work, of course, but Sheyi thinks it's naive for the governor to actually think amnesty is the way out.
So far, many are saying it's a success. Remember the number of cult members that renounced their groups in Ikorodu just a few weeks ago.
Absolutely. Whatever will work, let's just let it work.